Hey guys, Marshall here from Limited Resources, and well, I'm on my laptop. I'm in Oklahoma City, and I'm doing coverage for the GP this weekend. But I figured, got to get the video in. So here we go. We've opened a Colossus of Akros down here, which unfortunately isn't a very good card. It's kind of cool, but we're not going to be picking it here. There's a Nylea's Emissary, which I like a lot. Anything with bestow on it, I'm pretty excited about. I mean, they're just, when you want to talk value, bestow definitely brings that. Although it's not the best. Let's see, Farika's Mender. When Farika's, that's the Gravedigger. That thing seems totally sweet too. A 4/3 Gravedigger for 5. I'd play that. Kragma Warcaller. Probably I'll end up playing that at some point, but I don't know if I want to move in. Lightning Strike and Farika's Cure, two really good 2-mana removal spells. And then there's Read the Bones over here, which I like quite a bit too. For me, I think it's between Emissary, Mender, and Lightning Strike. And even though Lightning Strike's probably the best card out of the pack, I think I'm actually going to take one of these instead just because I want to try them out more. I kind of know what Lightning Strike does. I'm going to take the Emissary here. See where that takes us. All right. Well, it didn't really take us in an exciting direction here, unfortunately. There's not a whole lot going on. There's a Hunt the Hunter, which looks like a sweet card until you really read it closely, and then it's actually just not a sweet card. I'll let you read that on your own. But it's not that great. Cutthroat Maneuver is basically unplayable. Satyr Piper, not very good either. Yeah, really, there's not a whole lot of awesome stuff here at all, to be honest. Shredding Winds, Boulder Fall. I think Wingsteed Rider is probably the best card in the pack, and it's the one I'm going to end up taking here. Otherwise, I try to take a black card in case we wheel that Gravedigger. That card's not that flashy, and it does require 2 specific colors. So I think that there's a reasonable chance that it comes back to us. But I'm just going to take the good card that goes with what we have already anyway. All right, we have a rare pass to us, but it is Psychic Intrusion, which isn't awesome. All right, this pack's actually just way better than the other one, than our last pack. Voyage's End. Oh God, I love that card. Okay, I had to take a quick phone call. That's why I went silent for a second there. I panicked, picked the Gray Merchant when I came back because I think that's one of the best cards in the set, and I really want to make it work. And I'm going to take either a Farika's Cure or a Sip of Hemlock here to try to kind of complement the Gray Merchant. Neither of them add to our devotion, unfortunately. So it's just sort of a matter of which one do we want more. I think I'm just going to take the Farika's Cure here. I think Sip of Hemlock's fine, but it's certainly not exciting, and it's pretty expensive. So I'll just take another one here. We'll just back-to-back Farika's Cures, kind of push us over into black. We didn't pass anything especially exciting in black. Read the Bones is pretty good. We passed another Farika's Cure. So some decent stuff, but nothing amazing. This guy, though, man, he's tough to evaluate. I think when I first saw him, I figured, oh, maybe you'll get 4, 5 drain life just one time and just kind of that's it. It's a one-shot deal, and it's a nice life swing. Like I remember saying, that's respectable. I'd play that card. But if you play it in a heavy black deck, it gets stupid really fast, and can actually just be its own archetype completely. All right, some good options here. There's a Read the Bones to help us find our Gray Merchant. There's also a Cavern Lampad, which isn't one of the better of this Dryad Nymph thing. I think this Leaf Crown Dryad's quite a bit better, for example. But this one does help us out with our devotion to Gray Merchant. I think I'm just going to take the Leaf Crown, though. I think it's just a little bit better. And if we're going to be green-black, which I'm totally fine with, I kind of want to hedge in that direction. I mean, if we get one Gray Merchant for the whole draft, we'll probably run it, but we don't need to force heavy or mono black. Because one of the things about playing Gray Merchant and its archetype is that you really do want to try to be as close to mono black as you can be to maximize on it. And when you start pushing hard in that direction, you have to play some kind of marginal stuff to make it work. We'll just take this Return Phalanx here. It's a black card that does what we want to do with the Gray Merchant style deck. It certainly doesn't do what we want to do with the Emissary and the Dryad necessarily, but these are actually, like the Dryad's actually just a very good defensive card too. You can bestow it for cheap onto really anything and make it into a great blocker with reach. And then after that leaves, you still have a decent little blocker. All right, some nice cards late here. Wow, Artisan Sorrow, Baleful Eidolon. There's even a Null, and I love a Vaporkin. That's Welkin for those of you that played in Zendikar, Sync card. I'm going to take Baleful Eidolon, though. I think it does exactly what I want to do in a deck like this. And we did it. Pharika's Mender comes back. That's really nice. The Pharika's Cure also came back, which is kind of insane because that's a really sweet little removal spell, but I'm definitely going to take the Mender here. That was the one that we kind of hoped. Yeah, it looks like black is wide open here. I'm going to take the Blood Toll Harpy, and I think we're in a good position. Commune with the Gods is a card that we can play. Yeah, we'll probably take that. I mean, if we pick up another Gray Merchant or two, Commune with the Gods can get pretty decent when we get to the point of the game where we need to start digging, because you really do want to kind of shut the door. Ideally, you play some defensive early creatures like this Return Phalanx, and then maybe we'll pick up. Ooh, here's an Aylea's Presence. Yeah, I like where we're at. Which one of these do we want? We'll take that one. We just picked up a presence, so we can use that. Ideally, you want to kind of set up a defensive board state where you start off with some nice blockers early, which we have, and then you eventually start casting like 2 to 3 Gray Merchants back to back or whatever, and just crush your opponent. It basically means that you only need to get in a few times. You know, the Blood Toll Harpy and a couple of attacks plus a couple of Gray Merchants will be the game as long as we're in a stable board state. So this should be good. We've also got 2 Pharika's Cures, which they're really nice for the early game removal spell. You know, the one when your opponent's trying to do some heroic stuff or something, or just cast some really early quick creatures and just try to kill you fast, and you can kind of get them. All right, what did we get? Oh, we got some decent stuff. So we opened a 100-handed one. It's actually a really interesting one. It's an excellent card. It's actually like not only cool, but also just really sweet like design. You know, you get to block a 99 additional creatures, which is just super. Like they could have just said it can block any amount of creatures, but they made it way cooler by having it block 99. But also, it's a friggin' 3/5 for 4 that only a few turns later with Vigilance. And only a few turns later, it gets huge and it becomes like a 6/8 or whatever, again, still with Vigilance. So, card's really good, but I think we should stick on the path here. I don't know that I want to move into double white for that card. So, that leaves us with Nylea's Emissary number 2, which is certainly solid. A Time to Feed, which is also quite good. And then the black cards in this pack are really underwhelming. So, it's a green removal spell or a Nylea's Emissary. I'm going to take the Emissary. I feel like those are really good. Ooh. All right, so we got past a Temple of Abandon. He took an uncommon over it, but there's also a Lash of the Whip and a Scourge Mark in the deck, both of which would make the cut for us. Same thing with an Nessian Courser. I'm going to see how much that Temple's worth. All right, I looked. It's only worth 2 or 3 ticks or whatever, so, I mean, normally I'd probably still take it, but I want to kind of see what this deck can do, so I'm going to go ahead and take the Lash of the Whip here. All right, no rare. Some decent stuff, though. A Nessian Courser. March of the Return, it's fine. There's no really great sacrifice outlets, though, so you can't really make it consistent. But Nessian Asp is quite good, and I'm going to take it here. I really like that card a lot. All right, there's an Asphodel Wanderer. Not a big fan of that card. Even though I want early blockers, this one just kind of isn't because you need to leave up so much mana to regenerate them. So I either want a Time to Feed or a Nylea's Presence here. I'm going to take Time to Feed. I mean, it's a removal spell. It's not a bad one either. Yeah, I think it's fine. All right, so we've got a Sip of Hemlock and a Staunch-Hearted Warrior. Right now, we've got the 2 Nylea's Emissaries, and then we've got the two cheap Bestow creatures with our Leaf Crown Dryad and our Baleful Eidolon. So we do have some ways to get this Staunch-Hearted Warrior going. Also, the Time to Feed that we just took also triggers it. Sip of Hemlock, I mean, you need something like that. It certainly wouldn't be an awful pickup here. I think I'm just going to take the Staunch-Hearted Warrior this time, though. I think since we just took Time to Feed, it's pretty reasonable to take it. I mean, it's a really nice combo. This guy triggers first, he becomes a 4/4, and then he fights. So you can kill a lot of stuff with that. And plus, hey, you're getting the counters on there. And I think the best way to get counters on these creatures is to do it incidentally. by getting doing something else and then getting the counters is the best way, as opposed to just using like one spell to do it out of your hand. All right, another Return Phalanx. There's also a Horizon Chimera, which I think is a sweet card, but I don't know that we really need to splash it. We totally could, though. I'm just going to take this Sedge Scorpion, I think, over the Nessian Courser, though. I really want to be kind of shields up here. And it works well with our 2 Nylea's Emissaries as well. All right, there's a Magma Jet fairly late, but yeah, there's only one card for us. Another Staunch-Hearted Warrior, is that what he's called? Okay, so here's an Ordeal of Nylea, a Viper's Kiss, and a Time to Feed. I'm going to take the next Time to Feed. I mean, it goes well with our Staunch-Hearted Warrior number 2. So now we've got 2 of each, and they're both likely to make the deck. In a pinch, we can use the second Time to Feed with our Sedge Scorpion or our Baleful Eidolon as well. And we've got some pretty nice targets for it. I mean, just like a Nessian Asp with a Time to Feed is really good. Farika's Mender's a 4/3, can kill some stuff too, but, relatively high power and pretty high toughness on the Nessian Asp does some good work. There's a third Time to Feed. At some point it will be too many of these, and I'll want to pick up like an Opaline Unicorn, but I guess I'll take the third one for now. Of course you can. Yeah, ship that guy. He's also good with Time to Feed, killing pesky early drops. We can play a turn 3 Nessian Courser and then gobble up their thing. Really, really good against like an aggressive deck. Against a big fat slow deck, much less so. But like I said, we still have options. Wow. Beef City, I like it. We're already at 24 playables as well, so things are going to look pretty good for us. Right now, though, we're really heavy green, and we've got some decent black cards here, but our Gray Merchant is not exactly maximized at this point. I'm going to hide this Flamecast wheel because we've already got pretty decent removal, but if we were in a real pinch, we could consider playing it, but man, I'd be bummed if I had to. We'll stick it in null here. A second Commune with the Gods. I don't even know if the first one's going to make the cut. It wouldn't currently. I'm going to hide them for now. We'll keep it in mind, though. Like I said, if we end up moving, like the third pack, I think will have good black for us, like it did in the first. And if we pick up a bunch of merchants or something, we can consider getting into a few of those. But I think I'd rather just have real spells. Just draw the spells like normal. All right, there's a Spear of Heliod, which unfortunately just kind of is nothing for us. And then our green cards are really kind of bad too. Voyaging Satyr is fine. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad card. I think it's okay, but it's not really what we want to be first picking here. Satyr Piper, definitely not. And there's a Cavern Lampad, which is probably what we need to take here. Yep, I'm just going to take it. The Spear is sweet, but it's not splashable. Ooh, we got lucky. We just got past a Reaper of the Wilds, which is, it's just awesome. Like, the card is just insane in Limited and even in Constructed. I think it's going to be good. A 4/5 for 4, like, I would already play that. No questions asked. And then I get, like, random scries when other stuff dies. And I can give it Death Touch in case they decide to double block or triple block or whatever. And I can give it Hexproof to protect it. And it's on color. Like, that's just, yes. Yes, please. All right, what do we have here? A Hedonist. Ooh, a Gray Merchant. Yes, we will take this Gray Merchant, and we will play this Gray Merchant. Like I said, it's not maximized in our deck. We didn't end up with, quite the amazing Gray Merchant deck here, but I think it'll be a fine role player, and they really do add up quickly, even on their own. We're at 25 here, so I'm really not sure what I would cut. Probably Nylea's Presence, since it doesn't look like we're going to be splashing or anything along those lines. Here's another Nylea's Presence. I think I'm just going to take this Blood Toll Harpy. I mean, Voyaging Satyr's good, but I think just beat down. I think these are going to be really nice in our deck, too. Probably only play 2 time to feed. Cut this presence. Oops. I'm going to save it for now. Man, a Centaur Battlemaster too. Another good pack here. Prescient Chimera, Crackling Triton, both very good. Divine Verdict, good. But I'm going to take this guy. Man, our 5s are insane. I think we actually want to be 18 lands here too. So we're going to have to make some tough cuts. So this puts us at 26, which means we need to make 4 cuts out of this deck, although it's actually 3 because we'll play 2 time to feed, but yikes. Probably have to just cut a Staunch Hearted Warrior, maybe one of the Return Phalanx. I mean, I don't hate the card, but in our deck, if it's never going to attack, it gets a lot worse. I mean, I still want to be relatively defensive, but I mean, we do have some pretty nice ways to attack now. Let's see here. This Wanderer, no. Don't really think I want any of these. So I think I'm just going to take this one here just because it's basically the only card that might make the deck. And it won't, but we could, or we could bring it in, or whatever. All right, a whole bunch of nothing here, really. I mean, this might be decent in our deck, but this is interesting. I've been using the beta client so much, I've got it pops up the chat differently. It doesn't just put it on your screen like that. Kind of interesting. Yeah, I guess I'll just take it. What does this guy do? Flying Vigilance, white, black, pay 3 life, regenerate it. And that seems fine. I'll take this Voyaging Satyr. I might even run that. And that might actually just steal a slot from something. Because we really could use as much mana as we can get here. Once we get up to 5s, it's going to be really kind of a party for us at that point. But our curve is very beefy here. Yeah, we're going to have to cut one aspect of this deck out. We're not going to be able to keep all the things that we have going on here are not going to be able to stay. I don't want this Hedonist, but I'll take this Warrior's Lesson. Might actually be good in the deck. I have the ability to splash anything. This thing can be annoying. All right, so let's see what we need to cut. I mean, we could cut the Gray Merchants and just try to kind of minimize on that whole angle. Scorpion, yeah. No, these are maybes. That's a yeah. I think these communes are just kind of no's at this point. Coursers are probably in 2 time defeats, 2 Nyleas, 2 Staunch, this guy, and one of these huge, or potentially huge things, plus these 2 gold cards that are both on color. That's nice. And then this is a maybe. You're in. These are maybes at this point. I don't know that we can even really run them. That's 21. We could certainly find a playable. I mean, I have tons of options. Like I could make this the deck here. This actually looks pretty decent to me. I mean, yeah, we're not playing the 2 Gray Merchants, but they're really not that great in the deck. I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We just don't have enough. I mean, they count themselves, of course, so it's not like we're going to get no value, but yeah, I think that we can just do better just beating down. I'm just going to run 18 lands in this. Could see what happens if I put these in and take out like one of these and one of these. How does that look? Looks very top heavy, but very powerful. I would probably want to do something along the lines of this. Like that. So try to go 2, 4, or 5 and try to get them that way. This is sort of a bigger version of the deck. This one has a much better curve, of course. Yeah, this will probably work fine. I wonder if I want another time defeat. I've got 2 Staunch-Hearted Warriors and a Centaur Battlemaster. Along with the Coursers, it's pretty decent with the Coursers. I think I'm going to try it like this. $10-8, no. 9-9. All right, submit. We've got a couple of tweaks we can do during sideboarding if we want, but let's see what this thing can do.